Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into some of the most shocking and lesser-known facts about life in North Korea. Stay tuned to learn about the realities of living in one of the world's most isolated nations. Now, you might be thinking, John, North Korea? That's a bit bleak even for you. But sometimes the most messed up situations are the ones we need to talk about the most. We're going to peel back the layers of propaganda and shine a light on the shocking realities of living in one of the world's most isolated nations. Buckle up, kids, it's going to be a bumpy ride. All right, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the dictator with the questionable haircut in the room. North Korea has been ruled by the same family since its inception. We've got Grandpa Kim Il-sung, the eternal president, still worshipped like a deity, even though he's been pushing up daisies since 1994. Then there's dear old dad, Kim Jong-il, who apparently loved movies and missiles in equal measure. And let's not forget the current heir to the throne, Kim Jong-un, a man who enjoys a good execution and a hearty meal. This iron-fisted family grip on power has had some, shall we say, interesting consequences. Imagine living in a country where questioning the supreme leader is akin to suggesting that kittens aren't cute. It's simply not done. Speaking of state-controlled media, let's talk about news in North Korea, or rather the lack thereof. You see, dear viewers, in the Hermit Kingdom, the only news you're getting is the news the government you to get. Think of it as a news diet consisting solely of sugar-coated propaganda and fear-mongering about the evils of the West. Forget about independent journalism, investigative reporting, or even the mildest whiff of dissent. In North Korea, journalists are essentially government mouthpieces, parroting the party line with the enthusiasm of a parrot that's been promised unlimited cracker privileges. And if you're caught consuming foreign media, well, let's just say the punishments are about as pleasant as a root canal performed by a badger with anger management issues. So much for freedom of the press, eh? You might think I'm exaggerating, but in North Korea, even your hair can land you in hot water. That's right, folks. The government has the audacity to dictate what you can and can't do with those luscious locks on your head. Forget about rocking a mohawk, sporting a man bun, or experimenting with the latest trendy dye job. In North Korea, you've got a limited number of state-approved hairstyles to choose from. It's like a dystopian hair salon, where the only options are party member chic and subdued conformity. So, if you're ever planning a trip to North Korea, and let's be honest, you're not, leave the hair gel at home and embrace the state-sanctioned bowl cut. Your scalp will thank you, or at least it won't get you thrown in a labor camp. Chapter 4. Keeping up with the Kim's North Korea's calendar conundrum. You see, in the grand tradition of all things self-aggrandizing, North Korea decided to create its own calendar. Because why use the same calendar as the rest of the world when you can just invent your own and base it on the birth of your eternal leader? So, in North Korea, it's not 2023, it's Yuche 112. Imagine the pressure of planning a surprise party for someone whose birth year marks year one of the calendar. Talk about high stakes. The Yuche calendar is a constant reminder of the Kim dynasty's supposed divine right to rule. It's a constant, inescapable reminder that in North Korea, time doesn't just march on. It bows down and kisses the Kim family's collective ring. Chapter 5. Internet in North Korea. You're better off sending a carrier pigeon. Now let's talk about the internet, or rather the distinct lack thereof. In our hyper-connected world, it's almost impossible to imagine life without the internet. But in North Korea, it's not just unimaginable, it's reality for the vast majority of citizens. Forget about scrolling through social media, binge-watching Netflix, or even sending a quick email. In North Korea, the internet is a luxury reserved for the elite few, those lucky enough to be in the good graces of the regime. And even then, the internet they access is a heavily censored, tightly controlled intranet, more akin to a digital library curated by a paranoid librarian with a penchant for propaganda. So if you're hoping to catch up on your favorite YouTubers or engage in some light-hearted online banter, you're better off sticking to carrier pigeons. Chapter 6, North Korea, where leaving is a crime and entering is a terrible idea. Now, you might be thinking, John, this all sounds a bit grim. Maybe it's time for a change of scenery, a little vacation, and you know what? You're not wrong. But here's the thing. In North Korea, leaving is not an option. Not for ordinary citizens, anyway. The government has a stranglehold on its people, and leaving the country without permission is a one-way ticket to a world of pain. We're talking imprisonment, torture, and, you guessed it, potential execution. And even if you manage to escape North Korea, life outside its borders is fraught with peril. It's a harrowing journey, one that highlights the desperate situation many North Koreans find themselves in. Okay, let's talk about entertainment, shall we? Because, nothing says fun like a night and watching a good movie or listening to some catchy tunes. But in North Korea, fun is a carefully curated experience, and it definitely doesn't involve any of that decadent Western entertainment. That's right, folks. Foreign movies, TV shows, and music are strictly forbidden. It's like living in a cultural vacuum, sealed off from the outside world and force-fed a steady diet of state-approved propaganda. Imagine a world without the Avengers, without Beyoncé, without even the simple pleasure of watching a cat video on YouTube. Chapter 8. Calling the outside world, get ready for a one-way ticket to prison. Now, let's talk about communication, or rather, the distinct lack thereof. In our interconnected world, it's easy to take for granted the ability to pick up the phone and talk to anyone, anywhere in the world. But in North Korea, making an international call is a risky proposition, one that could land you in a world of trouble. We're not talking about exorbitant roaming charges, folks. We're talking about imprisonment, torture, and, you guessed it, potential execution. The government maintains a tight grip on all forms of communication, and any attempt to connect with the outside world is seen as a threat to the regime. Chapter 9. Elections in North Korea, where choice is an illusion and dictatorship is a reality. Now let's talk about democracy, or rather the distinct lack thereof. Because in North Korea, elections are about as democratic as a dictatorship can get. Imagine going to the polls and finding only one name on the ballot, the supreme leader. Voting is technically mandatory, but it's not like you have much of a choice. It's a bit like being asked to choose between being hit by a train or being hit by a truck. Either way, you're getting run over. Chapter 10. Religion in North Korea, where faith is forbidden and atheism is mandatory. Now let's talk about religion, or rather the lack thereof. The official state ideology, Yuche, is based on self-reliance and effectively functions as a secular religion, with the Kim family as its divine rulers. Any other form of worship, be it Christianity, Buddhism, or even worshipping a particularly charismatic houseplant, is strictly forbidden. Possessing religious texts like the Bible? Well, that's a one-way ticket to a North Korean re-education camp. Outro. Until next time, stay out of North Korea. Seriously. So there you have it, folks. Just a glimpse into the truly bizarre and often disturbing reality of life in North Korea. From the state-controlled media and the lack of internet access to the restrictions on personal freedoms and the ever-present threat of punishment. It's a country where the human spirit is constantly tested. But even in the face of such adversity, it's important to remember that there are still people living their lives, trying to make the best of a bad situation. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. See you next time.